Greetings on a Saturday morning. We are the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, a happy bunch of people enjoying the discussions of internet marketing. And we've been actually hanging out in the Blab and doing some other things, and it's been a good morning for exchanging ideas about internet marketing. But we have a very special show today. So first of all, my name is Roland from R&D Hotline. If you have a question on internet marketing, call the hotline. And in the meantime, I also have a co-host. First, I should back up. Karen V. Chin is normally with us, but she's not able to make it today, but she'll be back next week. But who is with us is Molly Youngblood Geiger, our Google lady. So say hi, Molly.
Hey everyone, my name is Molly Youngblood Geiger of Design Right For You out of Jacksonville, Florida. I also participate with Google on several different platforms, including the Google Partners community, where I'm an ambassador, the Google Small Business community, where I'm an advisor, and a Google Rising Star.
Trying to get through all of that. I'm glad you took care of it for me. Thank you, Molly. And also, it's joining us impromptu today. I kind of snagged her on the fly, and I had her come in and sit in with us. This is Lynn Sanders, the head of the Difference Makers Media Group, and also running the Difference Makers Summit, of which several of us are participating. So say hi, Lynn.
Hi, everyone. As Roland said, I'm Lynn Sanders of Difference Makers Media and the Difference Makers Summit. I'm really glad to be here. We're out to help you tell your stories so you make a bigger impact in the world. I'm really honored to be here, Roland, because I love the impact that you and Molly are doing out there, and our guests, too. I won't say at this moment. Leave it to you.
Thank you. And our guest is special today, and she is a difference maker. And the reason that we have her on the show today is she focuses on Google Hangouts. We have the Hangout Mentor with us, and her name is Virginia Parsons. Virginia Parsons, please say hi and give people a little idea of what you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here, Roland. Thanks for inviting me. You know, I don't usually get onto Hangouts on Saturday morning, so this is a great special treat for me. And you know what I do? I've been known as a Hangout Mentor now for, gosh, I don't know, a year and a half, up to 2 years. And it's because I've had so many people ask me, how can I start using Hangouts the way you're using them? So they've asked me to mentor them. So my whole intention really is to help people do what I call step out of their shadow and shine as the go-to expert using Hangouts on air.
Good deal. And we featured you yesterday. That is, Lynn Sanders featured you in her Summit series. And that was just an hour packed with just a whole lot of information. So if anyone wants to see that, they can first of all register for the summit. It's free, and if you do that, you get all kinds of bonuses and everything. So before we go too much further, I'll be posting the URL to register for the summit. But if you do that, you can go back immediately and go watch the replay that's available through this weekend, and that's all that it's available for the next 2 days. So you can watch just a wealth of knowledge that we delivered via having Virginia Parsons as the guest, and watch that, and then you'll be able to readily recognize what the value of today's information is that we're extending out to give a little bit of information that accents what she delivered yesterday. So, Virginia, the first thing is this. I know that there's so many ways to cover this, but we were led into a nonstop conversation yesterday where you delivered a lot of information. I mean, it was a ABCD, and it was outlined, and it was charted, and you gave everybody a lot of value. But is there anything that you would want to add or venture into that you did not have as part of your presentation yesterday? Because you can only get so much in an hour. But if you wanted to pick a couple of points, what would you emphasize that you would want to add?
Well, you know, one of the things we didn't talk about a lot is how do you promote yourself and do it in an authentic way and reach more and more people? Because it's one of the beauties, as all of us who are doing Hangouts on a regular basis understand it is about reach, it is about connection, and it is about engagement. So, let's think about it this way, Roland. What if you are, a person who's got great gifts and talents? And I quite frankly believe that everybody does. I was having this conversation with a gal who I just really admire. I actually interviewed her on my show, the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. She's 87 years old, and she is learning the internet and getting her gift out there. And she said, this is part of my legacy. So what we were talking about is, well, how do you get your gifts out to more people? Because it does you no good if nobody knows about you or if nobody can find you. Well, here we have this incredible platform that Google has handed to us on a silver platter, Hangouts on Air, which to me is absolutely the most powerful broadcasting medium we have available today. I will always be partial to it in spite of all of these other live streaming platforms that are coming along, because it has a lot of flexibility to it. So one of the things we really didn't get into, and I don't have time even today to get into in any depth, but that is, how do you get the word out? And there are several ways to let people know about your Hangout, and I think we can all, contribute to this conversation. But one of the things that I think is important is that you get it out there in as many ways as you can, both by simulcasting, and by simulcasting I mean taking this, the link that you have to this live broadcast, and you have it in a couple of ways. Links are actually available to the person who starts the broadcast. So in this case, it's Roland. He's hosting this broadcast. He has the links available for, number one, the embed code for it, and number two, the YouTube link. Now, depending on where you want to get that information out, you'll use one or the other. If you want to get the information out for a simulcast, for instance, onto YouTube or onto your website, which is a great place, of course, if you want to draw people to your website, use the embed code. So that's really easy to take, and then you can embed it right into a LinkedIn post. And with the embed code there, when someone goes there, they're going to be actually able to watch the broadcast live. They'll be able to watch it live on your website. The same way, you can take the link that is provided to you in the Hangout for the YouTube link and think of all the places you can put that out there. One of the places I put it out there, just to throw this out there at you, is on my Hangout Mentor app. So if you're interested in getting the Hangout Mentor app, that is a free app. All you have to do is go search Google Play or search iTunes, and it's called Hangout Mentor, and it's free. Well, I take that and I embed the YouTube link into it, and that app will automatically bring the replay up for you. You can watch it live, or you can watch it at your own convenience right off of your cell phone. So these are just a couple little tips, and there's so much great stuff available to you on Hangouts right there to get the word out and let people know what your passion is, that you need to take advantage of it. There's lots more I could go into, but I'm just going to pause and get some conversation going here.
Absolutely. It's great to know the other ways we can facilitate the use of Hangouts on Air. And I think that that Molly had a question pertaining something of this nature and wants to ask you that, so I'm going to let her take it away and converse with you on this.
Yeah, so my question would be, and then this is just from my own personal experience, whenever I first started using Google Hangouts on Air, I had the hardest time distinguishing the different links, because there's the invitation link, which is something that only the host provides, and then you have the embed mention, and then the YouTube link, and then you have the event page link. So you have all these different links. So my question would be is, how would you distinguish to somebody who's brand new on Google Hangouts on Air, where do they
come back? All right, I'm going to assume that I know what she's saying. That the end of that, Molly, did you get? Where do they?
Like, okay, if I'm a brand new user and I'm not familiar with an event page, where would I go to find all these links? Would I know there's like a certain section on the event page that you could go to, but I know for me, one of the things I was very confused on was the invitation link, and I kept thinking, oh, I go to the event page and the invitation link's going to be there, and that's not where the invitation link is, right?
Well, actually, yes, the invitation link is on the event page. There is a place for you to click on invite. So what I want to talk about and maybe distinguish for you is the difference between inviting and sharing, because you really want to pay attention to this. I invite people to one of my events who have already said they're interested in attending. So the invite link is not something that you should use indiscriminately. You don't want to offend people. You don't want to make people feel like you're spamming them. So when I write up a description for my Hangout event, I do say, if you say yes or maybe to attending, you will be added to my shows list, and you'll get future notifications on all my future shows. They then get invited. I click on the invite link that's on the event page that I've created for the Hangout event, and I send that just to that list. That is what I call my IBWS list, my Inspirational Businesswoman Show list. Now, when you do it that way, you get very few people who ask to be opt out of your list. Now, I get a few, I have to say. Once in a while, someone says, please don't send me anymore. I don't want to know anything more about your Inspirational Businesswoman.
I'm glad
I'm not
the
very
only
often
one.
because I've already asked permission to be sending it. Do not send invites out indiscriminately. So that's the invite link that is on the event page. Now, I ask people to help me get the word out, and that is the share button, which is up underneath the event banner. The share button is something that you want to encourage everyone to use. You want to encourage everyone also to click the +1 link that they're excited about the show. They think it's going to be valuable content. So you ask them to +1 it, and then please share it. So now that is the people who you've already invited to the program, and you're now asking them to share it. So they can click that share link and send it out to their tribe, to the people who are following them. They can share it with their, they can also share it with the public, by the way, but they can share it with the public, they can share it with their circles, they can share it with their extended circles, which is what I do. So if I am wanting to share someone else's event, that's what I do, like with Roland's. Just clicked on that share button, told them that I was going to be on the show today, hope that you'd come join us for a lively discussion. That doesn't offend anyone because that just goes into the Google notification stream. So you have to keep those two in mind when you're extending invitations to people. And, then I also, just to add to this, when I'm doing broadcasts myself, I add images. Because, look, when people like to come to a Hangout, they're coming because they want to see, right? It's not just the listening part of it. They want to see. They want to connect with you. They want to engage. So to draw attention to that, I also post on a regular basis and then share with the public. I share images about what's coming up. So these are all ways to help engage and draw and attract people to what your event is all about. And I have one other idea here, and it's now just scattered around in my brain, so it'll come back to me, but it was important, so I know it'll come back.
So while we're considering that, let's take a look at what's going on in the comment stream. We have several people. Excuse me, I've got two computers going here, and we have Dave Williams who makes the comment, just coming in from your Blab pre-show. So he went to the Blab pre-show. He might have gotten the mention. I would like to know, Dave, actually, if you could inform us how you were invited to the Blab pre-show, and probably through Twitter or something, and or if you know Bill from Bill Does Belize. But anyway, Dave came from the Blab over to us. Sanam, we're glad to have you. Also, Randy Smith, Bill Graham, of course, who hosted the pre-show Blab, and thank you very much, Bill. Barbara Quick, Gary Whalen, and a repeat of everybody that I just mentioned. So that's cool. I'm glad you had to have you here today, and we're just going to continue on with this time because we only have Virginia for the half an hour mark, and we're halfway through that. So does anyone else have a question for Virginia? And otherwise, I've got some.
I have a question, Roland, and for Virginia. And I know Molly has a bunch of questions I see in the chat. Do you, Virginia, invite people who you don't know, but you are on their mailing list and you admire them? There are people who you would, like to talk to in the future. Do you invite people who you don't know personally?
Yes, I do, but I do it discriminately. And I also, send out emails to people who are on who have already opted into my email list or who are friends. I invite and let people know over on Facebook. I invite and let people know over on LinkedIn, because those are posts. Those are not, going directly into their email list. So it's when it goes directly to their email that you want to be discriminating into who you invite. So, I do email the people that already have opted in or are friends of mine and let them know that. The one thing I was going to say, and a big mistake I've made, and I've made it twice unintentionally, but I want to share this with you, and that was the point I had forgotten about before. When you are setting up a Hangout on Air, you are then going to be inviting, in most instances, the public. But remember, the beauty of Hangouts is it has all this flexibility. You can make it what's called unlisted. You can make it private. But I'm talking about for a broadcast like a show like this one, where you want the public to know about it. Now, I love to invite the public also because, right, we've got Comment Tracker. We love Comment Tracker, and you have to be inviting the public in order to utilize Comment Tracker. But a couple times I've inadvertently invited the public and my circles and my extended circles, and it's gone out to thousands of people who did not ask to be notified. And that was when I was setting the Hangout up initially. So be careful of that, because that's not the kind of invitation you want to make. You do want to just invite at that point when you're just setting up the event, invite the public. Later on, once you've got the event set up, then click the share button and send that out to your extended circles and your circles. But don't do that in the beginning, because you're going to be somewhat spamming people. So for those of you I've inadvertently spammed in the past, I apologize.
That was really helpful. I didn't know that myself. I usually have done public and the circles, and then I get a notification from Google that I've invited too many people. So what you're saying is really helpful. I didn't know, just public and then afterwards share.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. Thanks, Virginia.
So, that's interesting. I've formulated a question regarding my own show for you. So if we get to that, I will ask it. But in the meantime, we have a guest that is out there, Dr. Margaret Aranda, and she has a question. So I'm going to let you address this, okay? She says, after her highs and so forth, quick reference to the Hangout apps, and I went straight to the cell apps. There are 10 choices on my iPhone. The best choices seem to be Hangouts free messaging, video and voice, Hangouts app, and Hangouts free. And she wants to know, which of these do you suggest?
Well, it all depends on your objective. Now, be aware that those Hangout apps, and Molly, you can probably reconfirm this to make sure I'm right on this, but those are for not Hangouts on Air. Those are for Hangouts. So that's for a video call or a chat that you do by text that you would do with someone else in your group or someone else in your circles. So those apps are not applicable to a Hangout on Air like what we're doing here. So as far as which one to get, I don't know. Read about them, try them. But if you want to do a Hangout chat, just download the Hangout app, and that'll take care of it. You can just pick up your phone and type in someone who's on your list and start chatting, whether it's with the phone where you can do a video chat or on your computer, same thing.
I'd quickly add to that, Virginia, you're right on point. And the reason why they have those apps for the iPhone is because Google's mobile system is Android. So whenever you have an Android phone, it automatically comes with the Hangout app installed versus an iPhone, which is not a Google mobile platform. So that's why they've developed those apps to be able to interact on Hangouts. But you're absolutely correct. Those are just apps to interact with your circles, to chat, to video chat, but it has nothing to do with a Google Live Hangout on Air.
Yeah, and just to add to that, you know, it would be nice if we had the ability to start a Hangout on Air from our mobile devices, but that is not what Hangouts on Air is about. So if you want to do something from mobile, that's where you're going to go over to a different platform such as Periscope or Meerkat, because they are set up for Androids and iOS devices.
Okay, so I'll take advantage of the brief pause there to interject. I've been doing Hangouts for a year, Virginia. So on the superficial level, and if you were just to like be consulting me, and so I'm not officially asking, but I mean I'm gonna put myself on the spot and say I've been doing this for a year. I have got my little clan assembling, and it's growing well, and I'm enjoying myself. But if you were to give me the 2 or 3 tips that would immediately propel me into the improving my Hangout series, what would you tell me?
Ooh, what would I tell you? Well, you know, first of all, I'm going to scold you a little bit right here on live
All right,
broadcasting.
I'm ready.
I I did not have links to know that I wasn't in the circles that knew about your show, so they didn't even show up on my event feed when I'm out there looking for Roland, saying, well, where are his events anyway?
Well,
So
well deserved. I had
yeah,
Virginia in a different circle. Now, you know, I added her a while back before I was really organizing my circles the way I'm doing now. And nowadays I focus on 2 circles, mainly my friends and my business. And I had her in a special circle, only she was not in my main Smarty circle. So I
yeah,
apologize, Virginia. Yes. Manage
yeah.
your
So that's
circles
one
well. That's the
tip.
first. That's the first thing.
Yeah,
No doubt how many people I've lost.
yeah. But you know, Roland, I don't have a lot of improvement suggestions for you because I think here's the key with you, and I think with most all of us that are trying to use this technology is that you're so real, you're so genuine, you draw people to you naturally. People feel comfortable with you, and I think that's just so important. So the key is help your guests feel comfortable and at ease, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Um, do what is called vet your guests so that they're not feeling intimidated by the technology. Give them a chance. I do for my show, I do a what I call a get acquainted hangout chat with any guest that I'm going to have, especially if they've never done a hangout before. You don't want to bring them on live and say this is their first hangout. They may be very techy, but we just don't know if they've got the audio set up correctly, if they know how to frame themselves correctly, if the bandwidth is adequate. And I don't want the technology to get in the way of the experience. So I know vet your guests as well. I know that Lynn vets her guests. Molly does. So, you know, we're already doing that. But for somebody who is new and really wants to try to start to use this technology in their own business or just for connecting with people, make sure that you give the people that you're going to be having on your show, give them a chance to get comfortable with the technology. That way, you're going to give your audience a much better experience. And when people are watching and they see that you're relaxed, you're at ease, you know, you're not letting the technology get in the way, now you're going to deliver much better content and it's going to feel better to the audience. Another little tip that I've mentioned before, but I will mention again, is you've got to help people embrace the camera. So many people are looking down. I mean, especially if you've got a laptop and it's a little lower than you, and they're looking down at the camera, and they're looking at the live stream, and they're not looking at the camera itself. It doesn't feel good to the people who are receiving the information. They feel looked down upon. It's a subconscious thing, but they do feel that. So anything that you can do to help the people that you're working with get comfortable looking at the camera. And I know at first it feels kind of weird looking at that camera, looking back at you. So one of the things that I have behind me is my own sort of vision screen with ideas and inspirational pictures. And some people will just take people they love and know love them back and put a picture of family or good friends there that they know are looking back at them. Whatever you can put behind that camera that helps you feel more comfortable and at ease with it is going to be a good little technique. And then one last little tip that I'll give to people, and I think that you do this, Roland, but I'm not positive, is I shrink the Hangout way down. I just take it and take one of the corners and I shrink it up and I put the Hangout right up underneath my camera so that when I'm looking at you, I'm also looking at the camera. When the screen is totally full, big, and you want to be looking at the other people talking, you're going to be looking down. So little tips that I think might help you.
Yeah, thank you. What the interesting thing on the camera thing is I had a different setup here with two screens and various implementation. So when I first started doing Hangouts, it was very difficult for me to look at the camera because I was too busy looking at all my stuff. And so I became a subject of conversation, and people were always saying, "Oh yeah, Roland never looks at the camera. Mine, his bad." And gee, Roland, you really should look at the camera. And then after about 2 or 3 months of that, people were saying, I think it was Lon. Lon actually said one day, I kind of like the way Roland's positioning. He kind of looks like he's looking at the other people in his green room. And then someone else said, yeah, I think it kind of works for him. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, Roland does it like this. I like the way Roland does it. So I kind of set a different trend. But my intention was not to set a different trend, but that was the real me, and people were beginning to accept that. And now I'm working off of a laptop camera, and it's set up differently, and I'm sure that the impression is better. So without actually going for the improvement of talking towards the camera and being better on the camera, it has actually happened for me. So I actually guess I'm better off either way. But that is a big thing as far as the camera, but one of the things that bothers me is the people that pose for the camera. And I don't know, it's part of the not being authentic or not being real, and it bothers me when people have to use a fake smile to kind of like mask their face and hide who they are. Either you're happy or you're not. If you're happy, you're going to be smiling, and if you're not happy, I hate the forced smile. So if I had any advice for people, it would be to mimic what you just said a minute ago, and that is to get themselves in a good mood, be happy, and then be themselves. Don't be yourself if you're not happy. Okay. That's enough advice from Roland. And we have a statement from Dave Williams out there, so I'm going to feature that at the moment. And Dave says, my advice to live stream hosts is relax, be you, build a relationship, and definitely ditch the pitch. And I love that right down to the core, Dave, because as my constituents know in the green room, I've never actually allowed my people on the show to pitch. And I have never, I don't think I've ever once, other than one show that was dedicated to us telling people what we do, I have never allowed pitching, and I've never pitched myself. So I've never made an offer, never done that sort of thing. This program is based on education, and that's why we bring people like Virginia on, because she teaches people. So that's a really great comment, and I thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate that. So we're going to lose you in a couple minutes, Virginia. So even if we're just talking about the condition of the weather behind your screen, and you just, whatever, I'd like to be able to just open it up to a casual conversation before you exit.
Well, thank you, Roland, for having me here today, and I love to have conversation, and that is the other thing that's beautiful about Hangouts. You really have the ability to collaborate using them. You have the ability to share on so many levels. Yes, you can teach, but it goes into discussion, going deeper, and that's what I appreciate about this opportunity to be with you, because you do go in depth, and you and I have had over the last few weeks some very in-depth conversations that go deep into, our soul essence and what it is that feeds our soul and nourishes our heart. And I guess I would just, finish up with that, is that use this technology in a way that does help you shine. That's, my motto, step out of your shadow and shine. Give your best to the world, offer the genuine you to the world, and you're going to attract to you the people that you can make a difference in their lives. And that's what I love about what Lynn does and the Difference Makers Media. We all have the ability to make a difference. And this technology just gives you such a powerful way to get your difference out there. And so finally it's just about saying, look, people have to know what your passion is. They have to know what it is that you can provide that they might be looking for. And here we've got this great medium available to everybody for free that can help you make a bigger difference in the world, impact more people's lives, uplift somebody, inspire someone, or just give someone a nod. I love what you're doing. That's what it's all about to me, and the rest of it's sort of, secondary. So thank you, and right now my heart is full, and I just want you to all know that I thank you for being here, and I hope you pick up some of these ideas and tips and use them yourself. Don't be intimidated. Just check it out and give it a try. And the nice thing I'll finish with about Hangouts is if you're too intimidated at first, know that you can just start a Hangout and go in the green room, which is without being in live broadcast mode, and fool around with yourself and some other friends. Get comfortable using the technology, and before you know it, you will hit the broadcast message or the broadcast button, and you will start putting your message out there to the world. And that's what I hope for all of you that you do.
Yeah, so it just gets back around to you just got to get started somewhere, and you got to take the first step, even if it's a leap of faith. It looks a lot bigger than it actually is, and once you land on the other side, you realize, wow, why didn't I make this jump earlier? Virginia, you've given us a lot of stuff, and Carl Turacek in our group says, lots of stuff I did not know, thanks. And he emulates what a lot of people are thinking and what I knew that we would be delivering in your half an hour. I know that we have to let you go. We're 2 minutes over time. So thank you very much for being with us. And we're going to continue on the conversation, and you'll have to listen to the replay to find out what we said about you.
Don't you worry. I will be back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone, for your questions and comments. I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now.
Virginia. Thank you. Okay. So we're losing Virginia, and we're now on our own. So any follow-up comments to anything that was said in that first half?
I'd like to just jump in for a moment just to reinforce what Virginia said and expand a little bit on it. Virginia said something really powerful at the closing there about being your authentic self and allowing this media to be able to help you get your story out. I think that it's really important for all of us to realize that we're all going to face fears. And she told us that you can use the green room just to practice among friends being on camera. You can also use this media where you can actually be on the air, but only to yourself. You can basically start a Hangout on air and just invite yourself and practice, and then look at the recording to see how you feel about it. So I think the main point here is to take action and don't let your fears stop you. She did a great job of that.
Thank you, Lynn. I like that. And I know that Molly's going to follow up with something, but go ahead, Molly, because I have something after that.
Sure. I've been following Virginia for quite a while. In fact, I was actually featured on our show earlier this year in January. And when I first started doing Google Hangouts on Air, the only reason I started was because in the Google Partners community, where I'm an ambassador, Google had sent me this video kit. In fact, here it is. Here's the video kit they sent me. And I'm looking at this on my desk, and I'm like, how am I going to host a Hangout? I have absolutely no idea how to do this. And I literally just went to the computer one day, and I Googled, how do you host a Hangout on Air? And, that's how it all started for me. So I think, for everybody, it's just taking that initial action. And Virginia had some really great advice about going ahead and, going into the green room, just getting in there and familiarizing yourself with it. And just try it out. And I would also add to that, just start watching Hangouts. That's one way to really start just getting familiar with the platform in general, is to just start watching them like you're doing right now.
That's cool. I wanted to add on an action phase to this whole conversation, because we've only got maybe 20 people or something listening, and maybe fewer than that live. And so if that's the case, it's like it doesn't scare me to say this offer. But I mean, if there are people out there that are just have been watching our Hangout for a while and do this, and you want to try it out, just contact me or contact somebody. But I'm saying, if I'm in your circle and you're in my circle, you could contact me directly. And if you want to try a Hangout or a Hangout on air, I'll walk us through it. And we can do it on the spot. If we don't have to broadcast, we can do a typical Hangout video call, or we can actually try to show you what a Hangout on air is like and show you the recorded version, and we can always delete it afterwards and remove it. So just to experiment and to try it, if you want to try Hangouts on air, just contact me, okay? And I'm sure that other people would be willing to do that too. So in the meantime, we would transition into the next phase, and that is to put Lynn Sanders on the spot.
Uh-oh.
And the idea is this. Lynn, we've been involved in the Summit series, the Difference Makers Summit, and it's quite a series. I got started on it with you months ago. We arranged it, and then lo and behold, you had me be your first speaker. And you know, the whole thing I could think of was, we're going to go through this series that's going to deliver so much information. I can't believe how much is going to be delivered. But no one's going to get it if they just look at it superficially and then watch it and go away. And so I wanted to focus everybody with my session on the concept of really focusing and taking action. You know, find what it is that resonates with you and take action. So the idea is that they have to be self-motivated, self-inspired to do something. Otherwise, the information goes to waste and is of no value. So let's focus on one thing: the idea of Difference Makers Summit. And the idea that I have that I would like to hand over to you is, where could people make a difference in their lives? And what are they absorbing from your summit that can really make a difference in what they're doing now?
Great question. I was looking for a book I wanted to show you. I'm reading a book written by the speaker for my next summit. Her name is Teresa de Grosbois. Teresa, D-E space Grosbois. And she's a three times award-winning best-selling author, a trainer, a marketing consultant, and her newest book that I'm reading is called Mass Influence. And it's really, how do you develop mass influence? How do you develop relationships that really help you expand your difference in the world? So in getting to your question, I think really what you all are doing, everyone here and people who are listening, you want to tap into your passion. My passion might not be your passion. I think I had heard once that you have a passion either because you really want something or you're really against something else and you want something opposite. So as far as I'm concerned, I am really opposed to negative media, and we're bombarded by it all the time. I feel like it's almost like having too much salt in soup. That, you know, how much can we deal with? I choose not to go to scary movies if at all possible. I don't like to watch the news. I figure I'm going to probably end up, you know, hearing it at some point, but I don't want to focus on it. Our family is very holistic minded, which means we recognize that health is an integration of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So if you're taking in negative media, it can manifest in a physical way. Even stress certainly manifests in physical ways. So my program, the Difference Makers Media and the Difference Makers Summit, is my effort to make a big difference by sharing positive stories from other difference makers, because I really want to create this positive ripple effect. And during the process of creating a summit, and I can tell you it hasn't been totally easy because I had to master some technical things that were a challenge for me. Roland knows about that. But I found that I'm able to meet some great people and develop deeper relationships. So I feel that the best way for you to do any program is tap into your passion. What is it that makes you really excited? Even if you get a little nervous, go with your passion. And then take a risk. Go out of your box. As Virginia says, shine. So be willing to step forward and face your fears and just go for it. Is ultimately, take action. You never know what's around the next corner. I think I'm a natural curiosity seeker. With my husband being a holistic dentist, I come across all kinds of natural alternative healers, and it makes me very excited to find people who are doing something different and helping people who wouldn't be helped by traditional means. So that's really my foundation behind Difference Makers, to help people get into a positive mindset.
Come on, Lynn, you're just a daredevil trying to show people how to take chances.
No, that's true.
But I agree with you 100%, and I would emphasize that most of what we fear is non-existent other than in our minds, and we're actually manifesting the fear into being something solid that we sit there and worry about and are intimidated by, and it becomes a solid object and an obstacle. Whereas if you don't devote any time to it, it's less and less. And sometimes people realize, wow, I've really actually got nothing to fear, and if I could just consider that I ignore this thing that somewhat rears its ugly head to me, they go forward and they realize, wow, it was a figment of my imagination. There should have been no fear there, and now that I'm on the other side, I've basically crossed the fence, and it just looks great from over here, and there's no problem, and the fear was unwarranted and absolutely a figment of my imagination. Now, that's how I believe and I think about fear and worry. And in the realms of thinking of it like philosophically, like law of attraction and so forth, we manifest what we think about. What we think about, we become. What we think about, we bring about. So, do we want to worry about it and bring about the effect of our worries, or do we want to bring about success? Well, to bring about success, we have to let go of the fear factor, and that's the one thing that I expressed in the first summit show, was that we've got to let that stuff go. But as long as you're clinging to it, the rest of it is not going to be palatable to your being. So if we want to talk about success, we really have to set ourselves up for accepting success in advance, believing that it's possible, and then striving to pursue, taking the steps. And as long as you take a few steps, you're always headed toward the success. But if you're always worried about it, you are not. So
Right, and you choose your thoughts. I don't know, Molly, if you want to mute, because I see a lot of comments in the stream here, and I'd like to hear what you have to say, because it comes down to we actually have the ability to choose our thoughts. They don't just. I used to think they just would pop up. So Molly, what did you want to share with the group here? Because I want to say one thing too. I really admire you and Roland and Karen, and I know that there's other people, Bill Graham, who's maybe watching right now on the show. I admire the fact that you speak from your heart extemporaneously. You don't have everything written down. For me, that was a scary thing to think about, even just come on a show and not have something written down. And you're also natural. I love it. It's just like we're having this great conversation and people can eavesdrop in and share their comments. So kudos to you for doing that and for inspiring people like myself to say, okay, I'm going to get over the fear and just do it.
I would add to that. I know when I first started doing Google Hangouts in there, that I actually did Virginia's suggestion. I would just start up a session in the green room and just get familiar with your voice and how you look and maybe the lighting or maybe your backdrop. And my whole mantra since I've been marketing my business is to get out there and help people, because what I do is very technical and it can be very confusing. And some of the products that Google offers, they may not quite understand AdWords or analytics or Tag Manager, all the different things they offer. And so I feel like when I help people, it's not only helping them, but it's helping me at the same time, because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that I'm out there and I'm able to help somebody maybe optimize a campaign, or create a source funnel and analytics so they can get that data that they're looking for. But I think one of the most important things, and I just quickly want to mention this, what I think is very valuable, is the legacy of a Hangout. Meaning it's not necessarily about how many people show up to the live event, but it has to actually do with the fact that that Hangout is recorded live to YouTube, meaning it's there forever, and you can take that Hangout and you can market it on social media. You can put it on your website. You can even put a link on your email signature if there's a particular Hangout that you really like. And it really is just about getting out there and just practicing. It's just like when you're in school and you're learning a new subject. It's a little unfamiliar, it's a little uncomfortable, but once you get into it and you start practicing and you're like, hey, I can actually do this. And then you get, like Roland was saying, you get to a point you're like, why haven't I been doing this? This is a lot of fun. So that's just my 2 cents.
That's true. And also you build relationships. I mean, I've never met you or Roland in person. I'd love to. But it's really like I've met you and Roland, because you're right there at my computer screen and we get to know each other. And that's something that is very special, because a lot of people don't realize the power of the Hangout is both seeing and hearing and interacting.
Well, I have a little story to share about that. I have a client here locally. She's a bail bondsman, and the short version is this business is not good. And so I asked her, I said, well, you're licensed for the entire United States. She goes, yeah, we can write a bond anywhere. I said, well, why aren't you writing bonds outside of Jacksonville? Oh, well, I'm not comfortable because I can't really see the person, and I like to look at their face to, see if they're on the up and up and that kind of thing. And I said, well, why don't you start using Hangouts? I said, you don't have to do a live Hangout. You could just do a private Hangout where you can interview the potential customer and see if it's a good fit. And so right now, as we speak, I'm in the process. She's a client. I'm having her watch Hangouts. And next week, we're going to actually be doing a private Hangout. So it really is, it's just like the old adage, just kind of tip your toe in the water and get your foot wet, and you just kind of grow from that. So I just wanted to share that story real quick.
Oh, that's a great one. I have a little story for you, too. I don't know if it'll pan out, but I had a meeting yesterday with a man who does insurance, and he wanted me to put him in front of other people, prospects. And he's typically used to running from place to place, spending an hour traveling. So I was trying to explain to him the power of Hangouts, and it took him a while to figure it out. And he said, well, there are a lot of regulations with insurance, and you can't put out anything on video or even with print without getting permission from the agencies. So I said, well, why not just have a private Hangout, like just a chat? It doesn't have to be recorded, and that way you can get people together from different locations. And he said, well, I'm just looking for people in this area in Illinois. And I said, well, you can target just this area. So that was an interesting idea for him. And that's something that everyone here can also consider. If you want something just private within a certain area, you can do that with this. That's what's so great.
I would add to that, for a business owner, one of the main objectives is you're trying to get the word about who you are and what you do. And one of the benefits I've seen, just myself as an agency owner and some of my clients as well, who are using Google Hangouts in there, is if you use certain keywords within the title, meaning if it's very specific to your industry or what it is you do, Google actually indexes those Hangouts. And what I've seen happen is, say if somebody goes and they type, I just use website design Jacksonville, Florida. Some of my Hangouts actually show up in the search results now. And what's interesting about that is the fact that they rank higher than my organic website, which does show up on page 1 for that search term. But what I find very interesting is when I look at that page, when I look at those search results, there's a little avatar that's right next to those Hangouts versus just a regular search result, which is text. And what I'm finding is my eyes gravitate towards that Hangout because there's that little thumbnail. So I just wanted to share that with the business owners, that there's a psychology behind that, because people tend to focus on pictures and videos. It's just one of those things that we do as humans. And I think that's an excellent strategy that Google's using, is to use these Hangouts and posts. It applies towards Google Plus posts as well. But you actually have a benefit over the other people who are not doing Google Hangouts on air, or who are not posting on Google Plus, because that little picture shows up, and then bam, you've got it. You've got that instant connection before your competitor even had a chance. So I just wanted to
Wow,
share
Bet.
that.
that's great.
That's something that I've been trying to exemplify for about a couple of years now. That video, especially as it mounted in YouTube, has great SEO potential. And I've had videos get posted in YouTube and then planted in the Google Plus account that would show up on page one for the search terms in less than 30 minutes. And I say less than 30 minutes because I didn't check before 30 minutes. It might have been 15. But the idea
That's
is
funny.
that the posts linked with video in YouTube and linked with your website do rank in Google search. And the opportunity is such that, well, but you can check it out yourself. Go to Google, type in your search terms for your company, and see what comes up. If you don't see any videos in the first 5 or 6 listings, you're probably not going to see any. But that tells you nobody is doing videos in your category of search terms. Now, when is your opportunity? Your opportunity is now while nobody else is doing it.
I
Because,
would add to that
go
really
ahead.
quick, Ron, just before I forget. You can actually build your organic rank to your website by including a link to your website on the Hangout. So in addition to building yourself organically, you with the Hangout, being the little index first, you actually can include a link to your website on your Hangout, and then you've got another opportunity there to build your organic search. So I just want to throw that out there real quick.
That's
Yeah,
good. Very good.
so what you're talking about is specifically an organic backlink that is legitimate.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
you know,
credible backlink because it's a Google product, it's a legitimate Hangout, and by the certain algorithms, that's what they look for. They look for authenticity. And when you post a legitimate Hangout about a conversation, about a topic, a product, service, review, testimonial, whatever it is, and you put your website URL within either the comments, or you mention it, you put it on the event page, it's going to create what we call as white hat SEO. So in essence, that's going to help your regular website rank organically.
exactly. And so people are just really unaware of this. And the idea is this. When you build a website, and this is one of the reasons that it's so important to build a website, not just have a Facebook page or potentially a Google business page that will work. But you have to at least have that. But the idea is a website that is called yours with your own URL and search term URLs corresponding, and then Google Plus allows you to associate that website with your pages and with your Google Plus account. And YouTube allows you to associate the website with the YouTube account. So when all these things are integrated, and then you take the YouTube videos and post them in your Google Plus account, you've got what we call the Internet Marketing Tripod. Those are the 3 things that I've been talking about for a year now that will get you ranking on Google. And so far, nobody's listening, but
So we're listening. Roland, I
yeah.
wanted to add one more tip. That was a really good tip, Molly. As Roland knows, I've been in the throes of revamping my website for quite a while. My company name is Park Avenue Marketing, and I also have the Difference Makers Media as my broadcast division. But one thing I learned from a seminar somewhere, and this is a really good tip. I'm sure you both know this. You can create a description domain name and have it forwarded to your website. So for instance, my husband, who's a holistic dentist, his website is joelsandersdds.com. But people are finding him because I also know that he's so good. I save the names Great Holistic Dentist in Illinois, in Highland Park, and I think on the North Shore. So if people are just typing in a search for a great holistic dentist, because holistic dentist was taken, I would obviously go with that first. But he said he's getting clients from all over, and they don't even know how they found him, but they're finding him. One person who found him actually resulted in asking Joel if they could televise him, because he speaks fluent Spanish and he's holistic, televise him for a Univision broadcast program. It's worldwide. and then someone else found him, a patient, and her husband is a videographer, and that person wants to do a documentary on Joel. And so he's a very private person, but he's happy to have some publicity in his way. So I'm just saying, you never know what can happen if you save a domain name that describes what you do, and it doesn't cost much to save a domain name, like $12 or $15 for the year, and then you have another way where people can find you.
Excellent point. And I would jump on that one myself, because whenever I'm building websites, I usually end up with 2 domains, not one. The person that comes to me has, as your husband did, joelssandersdds.com. And they say, yeah, I want people to find that on search terms. Well, then the answer is, well, then they're going to have to find it on a business card or a direct referral from you or somebody that knows you, because they're not going to find it in search. And no one's going to go to the website go to Google and type in, gee,
Right.
I need a holistic dentist. Let me see, maybe his name is Joel. And they're not going to find you. But
right.
if you have a secondary domain that is descriptive like that, that is a search term that is searchable. So if you program your website SEO'd around your search terms, and your search terms are also in your domain name, you're on a really good start. And then, of course, the SEO's got to follow through the website. But Molly's dying to say something.
I was just going to say, I actually just did a 5-part series in the Google Small Business community about local optimization. So you get a chance. Yeah, I did a 5-part series about picking your domain, citations, social signals. I included video marketing. So it was a very comprehensive series where I really kind of dug deep into, what should be on your website? How should you be marketing your website? And that's where I see a lot of businesses kind of get a disconnect as they go, oh, I need a website. Well, yeah, you need a website, but then that's kind of where they stop. They don't really market it. And in our world right now, as a business owner, you have to market the website. You have to be posting on social. You have to, use the different tools that are available to you, like Google Hangouts on Air, to tell people who you are and what you do. So, but yeah, local optimization for me is big, because a lot of my businesses are local, and that's what they're interested in. They want to be in that 3-pack. They want to show up on maps. They want to show up right there on page 1. And I think as a business owner, that's what we all strive to do. We're all striving to get on page 1, because if you get on page 1, you at least have a chance. A lot of, in my world, my rule of thumb is that I have 3 seconds to catch your attention. And if I'm not on page 1, then I don't even have a chance. So, but yeah, if people have questions about local optimization, post them to Roland's event page. I'll be happy to get an answer to you if I can.
Molly, could you tell us where we can watch your program or have that posted? Is that available for us?
Yeah, it's in the Google Small Business community, and I'm actually in the process of posting it to just my regular Google feed, my Google Plus page. So I would say by Monday, give me till Monday, and I'll post all of them to the event page. I can grab those real quick and after the show and just post them on there. So if you're watching and you want to watch, or they're not really watching because they're just posts, some of the communities, and it's interesting, they actually prefer posts as opposed to video. But I'm hoping as video marketing grows, that changes. In fact, Google Brand Labs has estimated that video marketing is going to increase by 74% by the year 2017. So I think that statistic right there is a big indication that video is the way to go if you're considering a new avenue to market your business. And I think that plays hand in hand to mobile and local. Video, mobile, and local, those are all the 3 main things that Google are focusing on right now, because of the fact that we have this mobile device. We're able to take it anywhere we go, and we're able to search. And from that search, we could be, looking for a coffee shop or a pizza joint, or I need to get my car fixed. And you can literally, right from your phone, get those results. And again, another reason why it's important to be optimized for local, because those customers that are looking for you from your mobile device, if you're there, you at least have a chance of them contacting me. In fact, AdWords has a thing now called call-only campaigns. It's been around for almost a year now. But it's a campaign to where it gets the person to call the business instead of driving them to the website. So there's all different types of strategies that can be used to market yourself. So Again, if you have questions about local optimization, post them to the event page, to Roland's page, and I'll do my best to get those links on there as well.
Thank you. That was
It's
good.
great. It's great to have Molly as a resource, people. By the way, Dave Williams posted this link in there, and it has to do with the user-to-user community. And we had kind of a controversial follow-up to that statement, but the idea is to practice doing HOA, join the user-to-user community, sponsored by Andrew Hatchett and Michael Daniel. And those guys really help people with small businesses get involved with Hangouts. So that's a really good idea. If you want to know more about this free community, go to the link that Dave posted and click away and do the research and find that. Now, relative to what we were saying earlier, 20 minutes ago or so, George
That's great.
was commenting, look for the bad and you'll find it. Look for the good, you'll find it. Choice, always. And you bring up the perfect point. Whatever's on your mind, you attract that. So if you acknowledge the good and focus on it, that's actually the energy that you're putting out into the universe, and you stand very possibly a chance of reaping the good. And of course, we'll follow up with Barbara, who makes the comments there. She really enjoyed the segments of Difference Makers Summit because it's so positive, and
Thank you, Barbara.
it's full of positive people, and I think that makes the biggest difference. When no matter what the case is, no matter what your situation, you have an opportunity to think positively or think negatively. And worry, anger, doubt, all those things are part of the negative. And we realize that you're going to feel them. We realize that you can't change the fact that you got into a car wreck or something, or whatever your condition is. But what you do have control over immediately is your next thought. So you can dwell in the negative and dwell in your sorrows, or you can start right now thinking, well, what can I do from where I am with what I've got? And what are the things that I can approach that create essences of a solution or positive motion? Or if at the very least, what's going to bring a smile to my face? Because it really all starts there. The positive energy is what makes you happy. And the positive energy, if fed, that's what grows. So don't feed your anger, don't feed your fear, don't feel the negatives and the worry. Feed the opportunities. And we have to look at life as being as a various array of opportunities.
I would add to that, Roland, just real quickly. A lot of people don't know this about me, but when I first started my small business, I didn't have anything. I had a very old computer. I had some software known as Dreamweaver. I had books, and that was it. I didn't even have an internet connection. And I basically took what I had and built upon it. And I built a website, and I learned how to optimize it, and I learned how to do graphic design. And I just kept learning and kept learning and kept trying and kept trying. And I think as a business owner, if you have that mindset that you're going to do it no matter what, no matter how long it takes you, no matter how much effort you put forth, even if it takes you years. When I first started out, all this stuff, this Google, I didn't have any of this. I had nothing. I had a stack of books, some software, and an old computer. And I built from that. And yeah, I had some small clients to start off with, and then I started accumulating more, and my business would grow, and I accumulated more, and then I started getting out and helping people, and people started learning about me and started wanting to know more about Molly, and it just keeps growing and growing. I mean, now I'm on your show, and I'm out there and doing things with Google and all this stuff. So I think I just wanted to share my story really quick, that if you just give it a chance, and especially with Hangouts on air, just give it a chance, try it out, practice, work it out. Know that you're not going to do the perfect Hangout on air the very first time you're going to do it, because you're not. You're going to go out there, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to hear echoes, you're going to, maybe cut yourself off, or who knows. But it's about just going out there and practicing and working it out. So.
That was beautiful. I wanted to say, add on to that, what you're saying, Molly, is really important for everyone, I think, to hear, is that the key was you believed in yourself and you had a vision of where you wanted to be, and you moved toward that vision. You didn't just stay stuck and say, well, I only have this old computer and no internet access. So what you're really saying to everyone is to believe and to keep that vision, and then there's a saying, belief becomes reality. So look where you are now, and that could be for everybody. Now you've got the Google partners right behind you. You're part of helping Google and many others.
Thanks.
Yes,
Thank you.
your achievements, Molly, and the place that you find yourself in, which, you know, a year or two ago would have seemed like a miraculous uh, change if you were to assume it all at once. It does not happen all at once, but it happened because of your diligence and persistence to self-learn, self-propel, and you inspired yourself, and you did not need the little hand behind your shoulder motivator pushing
Right.
you on. You know, you self-motivated because you had an inner need to accomplish, and that is what it takes pretty much. And somebody, if you want to succeed, you have to find your inspiration, you have to find the reason and your purpose for doing it, because if you don't have a purpose, you'll never get there. But I mean, your purpose could be your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, some reason, improvement, healing. You're going to have your own purpose, but take your purpose and find a solution. Find the
Right.
solution.
And then offer it to others when you're doing that, just like you
Yes.
are all doing that. You're giving. So that's the first
Yeah.
thing in thinking of it, in service first. This is
Yeah.
a great program. I just love being a part of this. I really appreciate being here and being in your community role because it's so natural.
In a year ago, and we're almost approaching the 1 year anniversary. In my first couple, 3 shows, I used to start the show saying, if you're not willing to give first, I'm the wrong person. You probably want to turn the proverbial knob or the channel or click away now, because you're not going to like most of everything else that I have to say. And because you have to be willing to give first. And people were thinking, no, I don't want to give first. I got to go out on the internet and get results, and I've got to get a return on investment. I've got to get sales and get, I've got to benefit. And so people come in with that type of an attitude. That comes from the fear and the worry of not having, and that's what they're generating. Well, unfortunately, I'm probably hard pressed to even help you. But if you're willing to say, yes, there is an opportunity, I just got to figure out what it is, and I'm willing to help people, and I'm willing to support my product and develop a better and better product and be better at what I do, now you've got the makings of success. We just got to stir the pot right and plant it in the right front of the right people. So we are seriously out of time. I've had a lot of fun, and I appreciate everyone coming in, even if you came in a little bit late there. The first half had Virginia Parsons in it, and we hammered her again, kind of like an extension of what we did in the summit presentation yesterday. So you want to watch the replay and also review everything that went on in the Hangout. It was pretty good. So I'm glad to have you folks with me, and thank you very much for being here, Molly and Lynn. And thank you, all the audience members, for being here, for commenting, and it's really appreciated. I love the interaction, and I thank you very much. So good day from Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Molly.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.